My name is Stephen Powell, and this is the U.S. Free Speech. Now, there are multiple topics I want to get on today. I'm not going to kind of just break down to one because this is actually the first video that I've made for the U.S. Free Speech. So I wanted to touch on multiple different things and then, of course, eventually start getting into basically talking about single topics. First I like to start it off with this whole NFL situation. Okay. Now, of course, recently, as a lot of you already know, that the NFL decided to, basically stop the players from kneeling. Now, I do say that it stems from a lot of people who feel as if that is disrespectful to the troops and this, that, and the third. However, whenever people are in a certain light or placed on a certain pedestal, which of course in America it seems as if the new form of being a gladiator, the NFL, is basically one of the higher pedestals. So of course they are using that to of course spread awareness. No different than what John Carlos and Tommy Smith did back in the 1968 Olympics when they raised their fist to spread global awareness of the civil rights movement. All in all, this is something that I feel as if is completely and utterly just disgusting. We're in the United States of America. We're supposed to firmly believe in our constitutional rights, and you're telling me that the NFL owners are telling them that they cannot have constitutional rights? I mean, who are they? Yeah, they make crap load of money a year, but still, that does not give them a right to actually hinder somebody from being able to use their constitutional right to voice their opinion, especially when it comes down to police violence and police brutality and even murders. And yes, I say murders. When it comes down to the fact that one African American male, which is only 12% of America's population, by the way, is 3 times more likely to be shot and killed by a police officer than it is any other race. Now, you're telling me somebody who is a part of a group that is only 12% is 3 times more likely to be killed? I mean, to me, the math on that is mind-boggling. I mean, especially as a man of color myself. Now, I mean, I've sat here and lived in the United States my whole life. New Jersey born, baby. And I've literally been even spit on for the color of my skin. Now, for those who truly honestly think that racism is just gone and it's people just overreacting, just trying to use the race card or whatever it may be. In all actuality, I completely understand why you don't realize it. It's because of the fact that you don't have to walk in my shoes. You don't have to walk in African American shoes or Hispanic shoes or whatever it may be. You have not personally seen exactly what happens to those type of people throughout their entire lives. Then on top of that, it doesn't help that we have a president. I like to put a nice space between this. Donald Trump, who basically promotes hate. And that's part of the problem with this nation is the fact that we forgot what it's like to love. We forgot what it's like to focus on family. Instead, we're so focused on feeding this machine money, money, money. That's basically our mind state. It's just money. When in all actuality, yeah, it's fine and dandy. It's nice to have money, but in all actuality, I mean, you can't take it with you when you're gone. Money is only worth nothing really. So we're forgetting how to basically switch from the mind state of life and the importance of it and money. Now, to get back on the topic of police brutality, I know I'm bouncing around all over the place, and I do apologize. Please, never mind that. However, when it comes down to the police itself, now you're telling me that I work my ass off. Ever since the age of 16, I work, and you're telling me my taxes are going to this organization that is a part of the government, and there's a good possibility that because of the fact that I'm funding them, I'm more than likely still likely to be shot and killed by them being unarmed. Now, people can sit there and say, oh, well, the media is glorifying it and this, that, and the third, and whatever it may be. But you're telling me that the school shooters, okay, and yes, I mean school shooters because I don't believe one of them was ever African American. Think about that one. But I don't recall any of them really being just shot and killed. They're treated more fairly than somebody who, what I mean, is unarmed. Just because they have a darkness to their skin color, all of a sudden they're treated like they're the most vicious thing on the planet. But yet somebody can walk into a school and shoot up 12 to 18 people, walk out, go to Walmart, or sit there get treated at Burger King after basically shooting up a church full of African Americans, and they're treated and glorified, basically treated like a damn hero. I mean, are you kidding me? Is this really what America is? Childish Gambino. But anyways, it's it's unsettling to sit there and see my kids grow up in this sort of nation. I mean, I would figure that we would have evolved past the Neanderthal stage. And to be honest with you, looking at humanity, it's kind of hard to be able to sit there and actually feel as if we have surpassed that. So, I mean, really think about it. What did Neanderthals do back in the day? They hunted, used rocks and sticks, you know, from my understanding, would hit a woman over the head with a stick, drag her back to the cave. Not 100% sure if that was even true, you know. However, it was all about brutal instinct. That's basically the whole prime drive of the Neanderthal. It's no different nowadays than then. The only difference is instead of using sticks and rocks, we got basically, AK-47s and stealth bombers. I mean, that's the only difference. Either way, it's basically the same type of mind state. It's the same type of primal instinct, and we're still continuing to drive off of it, thinking that we're higher and more evolved than what we were then, when in all actuality, we are still no different than that Neanderthal. Now, I can say that, of course, I can talk all this negative about how, mankind is this and so on and so forth. In all actuality, I mean, there are a lot of people out there that actually restores my faith when it comes down to humanity. There's people who go above and beyond to try to understand or to try to basically try to do more and go above and beyond for everybody else. But then you see people like, Donald Trump that kind of just shits on that aspect, that thought process. The moment that you actually truly honestly think that something's going good, you have one huge moron that steps forward and makes you realize why you can't necessarily stand particular people. And it's pretty sad and sickening. Um, I would really hope that one day we would, surpass this whole entire circus. That's basically what it is. It's a circus. We should be able to step forward and actually start to speak our minds instead of being scared like most Americans nowadays are. I mean, we're scared of every little thing. We're scared of a shadow, basically. And that's basically another thing that our government feeds off of, our fear. their propaganda basically lies around our fear of wanting to step up and actually make a difference, our fear to actually go out and protest and to try to make a positive change. When in all actuality, I mean, they don't want to pay attention unless something bad happens, which hopefully it doesn't have to, ever have to be that. But I'm just saying, our nation is in trouble. It is. And I'm not saying it's in trouble by those overseas. I'm not saying it's in trouble by immigrants coming over. It's really not. Our problem is our very own government. Our problem is the fact that we just sit idly by and just allow these sorts of things to continue and basically just be seen and not heard, you know? Which is another reason why I started up the U.S. free speech, because I wanted to be able to voice my opinion on a more global standpoint. I talk to my friends all the time about politics. I try to, of course, open their minds to be more than just inside of that box. You know. One second. Now, the whole Roseanne Barr situation kind of just popped in my mind. Now, I grew up watching Roseanne. Um, be honest with you, I mean, I've always thought she was pretty funny and so on and so forth. As far as what she just recently tweeted, I'm not really big on the whole um, Twitter situation. I like to call it Twatter, but I'm not too big on that particular platform. However, when it comes down to what Roseanne did and what Roseanne said, um, yeah, it was a distasteful joke, and just like all comedians kind of like to shock and awe. Make people say, "Oh, whoa, whoa," and sometimes, yeah, there's times where it just goes a little too far. I truly, honestly, do not feel as if Roseanne Barr may have stated it out of just malicious intent. I think it was just, she was probably just sitting around the house, thought about it, and thought it was funny. Um, Sadly, it didn't turn out that well for her, and so of course they decided to cancel. However, um, as far as this nation, and this part, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up with this. United States. I was born here. I love the concept. I love the foundation. You know, the constitutional rights, our civil rights. The very thing that everybody, even our government, should be abiding by. Which, by the way, if any of you guys are paying attention to this, please stop using our Constitution as toilet paper. You are supposed to abide by that, as well as us. Remember that. However, I will really, truly, honestly hope that one day America will wake up and actually realize that we're in danger. And we're not in danger by those sneaking over our borders or by somebody who is way overseas and never sent an army or stepped foot on our soil. I don't see why we cannot understand that this hate needs to stop. The more and more it's spread, the more and more you feed it. It's like wildfire. You can't stop fire with fire. It just won't happen. Sometimes you just need to get a water hose and just put it out. So, for all those who decide to pay attention to this, please keep in mind, in the future, the next time when something starts to change your perspective to a negative way, please find your way back to the positive. Please try to emerge and become something greater than what you were before. Because America needs people who are willing to be positive, who are willing to step up and try to make a positive change and do something. This is Stephen Powell, and you have watched the U.S. Free Speech.